Trump ahead on economy, inflation, and immigration. Harris ahead on healthcare and cares about people like you. Ugh, God damn, they're so bad. Trump stands up for the American worker by 47. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is a messaging failure on all fronts, dude. This is a communication disaster. Oh my God. Trump stands up for the American worker. He literally had a pathetic man-child, billionaire, narcissistic man-baby do an interview of him, glazing him, and they talked about firing striking workers. Like, gleefully, they laughed about it. Yeah, immigration and border security, 52%. Best able to handle. Why? Why is it that only 36% of Americans believe Kamala Harris is best to handle immigration and border security, whereas 52% think Trump is better? Well, the answer is simple. It's because the Democrats have completely dropped the ball on the issue of immigration. They are captive to right-wing framing on the matter. And when you are telling everyone that your opponent is right on the matter, they're going to go with your opponent, who has always been right on the matter then. Greg Sargent, staff writer at the New Republic. News, Dems are seriously second-guessing some of the strategies of the biggest pro-Harris super PAC Future Forward. They worry outreach to young and non-whites is faltering and think Trump was able to rehabilitate his favorables too easily. No way. What? How? I'm so confused. I'm just some fucking dumbass Twitch streamer. What the fuck do I know? I'm always in my hug box. I'm always in my fucking living room. It turns out I can see certain realities from this goddamn living room in Los Angeles, California, better than these fucking excellent expert analysts do. I've been saying this for months. I know a Harris staffer, the whole campaign, she was just living her best life and thrilled by the record-breaking donos, totally put the car before the horse. Yeah, it's funny because the record-breaking donos came because Kamala Harris represented a change and a response to public pressure. That swap out was why she got this momentum. All of a sudden, these same demographics that were primed, that were embarrassed to have to go out and vote for this old man running up against an old man as well, were like, oh shit, this is good. This is new. We like this. We're going to gift you. We're going to give you positive reinforcement. You gave us what we wanted. And then they looked at that and were like, oh yeah, let's just fuck this entire thing up. Okay. Let's just fuck it up. I said when I went to the DNC, I was like, they're doing victory laps for no reason. This is a close race. What are y'all doing?
The candidate of hope and change, trying to convince voters that the sitting vice president can take the country in a new direction.
We are ready for a better story, one that helps us work together instead of turning against each other. Pennsylvania, we're ready for a President Kamala Harris.
Yeah, it's a hard bargain, man. It's hard to fucking convince people of this message when the candidate herself every goddamn day on television is like, I love Republicans. I am a Republican. I'm very fond of Republicans. I've never thought of myself as a liberal Democrat. I am actually, please do not ever bring up the fact that I ran for Medicare for all in the doomed primary campaign. I want Republicans to literally vote for me. I want Republicans to be in my administration. It's my favorite. Hope and change. We're changing the Democratic Party, just not in the direction that you want it to be changed. We're changing the Democratic Party in the direction of the Republican Party. And in that process, she has also copied the Mr. Beast policy. In Scottsdale, Arizona, Harris says she wants to create a bipartisan council of advisors to give feedback on policy. Mr. Beast, if I were president, I wouldn't care about party lines. I'd just always truly make the American people my #1 priority. For problems I'm ignorant in, I'd have experts from the left and right advise me on them and try to find the middle ground that's best for America. Like, for example, do we deport every single person that I have suspected as being Latino? Or do we deport, like, I don't know, 50% of them, give or take? Or other issues like, do we do permanent genocide and also annex the West Bank? Do we let Israel do permanent genocide in Gaza and also simultaneously take up southern Lebanon and also annex the entirety of the West Bank? Or do we let Israel do permanent genocide in Gaza? That's a given. That's going to happen. Also let them have a permanent military occupation in southern Lebanon. But also then, maybe we won't let them annex West Bank yet. Deep bipartisan consensus in issues such as this, we have to find that. I would focus on uniting the country instead of dividing it. Anyways, we can pick this up in 15 years when I'm old enough to run. Haha. Well, good thing we have Kamala Harris to take up that mantle. Wonderful stuff on that front. Also, here's some more concessions to the Republicans. Remember Colin Allred? Well, he came out with a response ad against Ted Cruz's super PAC hitting the Democratic Party and Kamala Harris on like being pro-trans or wanting to like do bottom surgery, do gender, do bottom surgery to like migrants or whatever. It's all over the place. Good thing these guys are going to respond to that and they're going to be like, this shit's weird. None of that puts food on your table. Who gives a fuck? Y'all are being weird. Is that how they responded to it? Let me guess.
Ted Cruz is lying again, but now he's lying about our children. I'm a dad. I'm also a Christian. And my faith has taught me that all kids are God's kids. So let me be clear. I don't want boys playing girls' sports.
Yeah, I'll kill them. I'm Colin Allred. And let me tell you, if you want to kill trans children, I'm your guy, okay? We will do much better than the Republican Party. They don't even want to do, they want to do gender. They're the ones who actually want to do, me, I don't want to do gender at all. I don't want to do woke. I'm a Republican. Vote for me, please. I'm a Republican. I'm Colin Allred. And let me tell you, if you want someone to come into your schools and do penis inspection day, I'm there. I'm first up. I'm on the line. Actually, you know what? I just wrote a bill. We're doing penis inspection day. The Democrats are going to put it forward. The Republicans are going to block it because the Democrat is doing it. And then we're going to turn around and act like, the Republicans are woke and want to do gender. We hate it. We hate gender. Yeah, Democrats don't fuck this up challenge. Colin Allred, half my unread text for some reason. Lights your mom's house on fire saying trans girls are boys. Cruz +5. The Chad Andy Bashar. Election year veto of anti-trans bill. Executive order banning conversion therapy. Wins Kentucky. All children are children of God. Pick your poison. There is a method. It literally fucking works. Turns out when you communicate in a successful way that like all of this stuff is weird. Shut the fuck up about trans children. You're fucking gross. You're dunking on like 8 people and you're harming all girls, not just trans girls, but like cis girls too. When you fucking implement these weird ass policies interfering with the private affairs of private American citizens, that's a successful strategy. Waltz did a pretty good job with that. Bashar, Andy Bashar, the lion of not Syria, but Kentucky. He actually did that as well. Very successful method. Will Colin Allred utilize this successful method? No. He's going to cave the right-wing framing and be a fucking dumbass because that's what Democrats are. You should vote for him. Like, if you're in Texas, of course you got to vote for this guy. What do you want? Ted Cruz? I get it. Like, I totally get it. The problem is this kind of messaging does not help the campaign. It hurts the campaign. This way of communicating is not only bad and wrong and immoral, it's also unsuccessful. It is never going to stop the Democrats from launching this stupid ass campaign.
Ted Cruz is lying about my record because he can't defend his own. He's done nothing to secure the border. He wants to raise...
He packaged it. He's like, yo, I want to kill migrants too. I'm Colin Allred. And if you want the migrant mutilator, I'm your guy, okay? Not Ted Cruz. Just simply showing how ugly of a freak Ted Cruz is would be a better campaign than this, dude. Ted Cruz doesn't want to kill migrants. I do. Why would anybody not vote for a Republican at that point? The Democratic Party is not supposed to be the migrant mutilator party. It's the Republicans. When you concede on the right-wing framing that immigrants need to be immediately destroyed and killed, and they need to be mass deported by the thousands, if not the millions, if you're saying you're going to be the party to do that, no one is going to believe you. They're going to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to go for the real anti-migrant party then. It's great. Are you just exaggerating or joking around when he says secure the border and you jump to killing migrants and mass deportation when he supports a path to citizenship and tons more asylum judges? Am I missing and dumb? What matters is what he's communicating. When he says he's going to secure the border, he's the securing the border candidate. Why? What are we talking about? Like, of course I'm exaggerating. I don't think he wants to kill fucking migrants directly. But the point is, you cannot outflank the Republicans on right-wing sentiment. You will never be able to do that. They will always push the needle further. When there is no security issue in general, when migrants do not constitute a threat to American national security, if you just capitulate on that framing and act like you're going to be the one to protect American borders, then you literally are saying this thing that is born out of complete falsehood is actually real. The point is that killing migrants and mass deportation is what Ted Cruz wants to do. So what does it communicate to voters when you attack him from the right? Exactly. Do you think Texas will ever flip blue? No, not with the current Democratic Party. Absolutely not.
Elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country.
By the way, this is why you can't outflank the Republicans on this issue, man. Kamala Harris will come out and be like, I'm going to be the border. I'm going to be border patrol. I'm doing border patrol. You don't understand. I'm going to secure the border. These migrants, I'm going to secure it. I promise you. And maybe we'll do some more immigrant processing on the side. But I'm going to secure the border. Trump doesn't want to secure the border. He wants a talking point. He wants a talking point. It's like you just gave him the talking point. When you do that, he's going to turn around and be like, I'm going to kill every migrant in this country. What are you going to do about it? And all you've done in that situation is prime your audience, prime your voters into believing that there is a genuine national security problem. That's it. The idea that Mexican cartels are not a threat to the U.S. is so insane, it's laughable. Mexican cartels, what kind of genuine threat does the Mexican cartels constitute to the United States that you cannot actually deal with legalization and ease of access and pathways of migration by better processing, faster processing? Mexican cartels use American citizens to traffic drugs and chemical compounds necessary to make fentanyl in the United States of America, dumb fuck. It's not migrants that are trafficking the drugs in. You're pointing to a problem with the specific purpose of doing blood libel, lying about migrants. Here's another opportunity to completely gut the cartels, aside from, not directly cooperating with them. Like, I don't know, maybe our agencies of espionage do on a regular frequency. Who knows? But beyond that, gun control. Gun control. Where do you think they're getting the fucking weapons, dude? America. How are they getting it? Because American citizens want the drugs. How are they shipping those drugs? Americans are trafficking those drugs. Nobody said it was migrants, young sir. Nobody said it was migrants. Let me run this back again.
Elite squads of ICE, Border Patrol, and federal law enforcement officers to hunt down, arrest, and deport every last illegal alien gang member until there is not a single one left in this country.
What do you think is going on here? Are you going to do the classic, oh, well, he said gang member. Yeah, he thinks they're all gang members, you fucking idiot. He thinks every undocumented illegal alien migrant rapist with a bad gene that causes them to murder, that's poisoning the blood of the nation, needs to be mass deported. He's Adolf Hitler. And it probably sucks to recognize this for yourself, but if you agree in any way, shape, or form with this, you probably are Adolf Hitler too. That's it. And a lot of Americans have that Hitlerian dog in them, okay? In their hearts, they got that Sieg Heil dog in there. Now the problem, or I guess not the problem necessarily, but like the upside of this is that they are also very stupid and simultaneously don't recognize how cruel and unusual and unnecessary this punishment is until it happens. And then they'll go, oh my God, this was so bad. Who could have guessed it? And that bears itself in the data quite a bit, because the very same Americans by 60% that say we need mass deportation now are also saying we need to set up pathways of citizenship for these undocumented migrants that are, our neighbors that are living on U.S. soil. By far the most annoying independent I talked to in Michigan, far north of the state, is Harris isn't going far enough to secure our border people. I gently asked how the border impacts them. Worst I got was, I don't want to lose a job to them. Unemployed housewife. Median voter broke by the TV media. Absolutely. The funniest part about it is that Michigan, it doesn't matter where they're at, right? They are surrounded by undocumented migrants and they like them. Every American thinks it's some other secret, shadowy, scary rapist undocumented migrant that's going to get deported, and not their fun neighbor that they like that's going to get deported in this process. That's the problem. It's the same shit that happened with abortion. There are Republicans that were like, yeah, we really do need to restrict abortion. And then it happened. They're like, oh my God, what the f***? I never thought that like my daughter might get this necessary medical treatment. Oh, this was a bad idea. Because you're stupid. You're stupid. But I also fault the Democratic Party for not actively communicating that this would be devastating, not only for just your neighbors that you take for granted and like, but also for the American economy. That's the problem. I fault the Democratic Party for not actually putting up a fight so that the Republicans can focus on tackling the things that the Democrats are doing. When Democrats move to the left, the Republicans come along with them and try to fight tooth and nail to claw back any sort of progressive momentum that the Democrats put forward. When the Democrats don't do that, they get comfortable and they act like, oh, no, we're going to take this shit for granted. We're going to take these voters for granted. The Republicans can move the country further and further right. And if the Democrats go along with this right-wing attitude, with this right-wing sentiment, if they keep repeating it over and over again, they go even further right. Yeah, great example. What happened with IVF? There are some Republicans who want to ban it. But in the sea of all of this commotion about Republicans taking away people's personal civil liberties, the freedom that they once took for granted in terms of getting a medical process, routine medical procedure that is supposed to be kept between a doctor and a patient, when they interfered with that, and then some Republicans were like, we got to ban IVF too. What happened? Republicans were like, whoa, what do you mean? I love IVF. I'm going to literally artificially inseminate my wife right now. I'm doing IVF right now. I'm coming in a sock. We're doing IVF. I love IVF. I'm the defender of IVF. That's what they said. Could you explain why abortion would be reinstated under Harris, but somehow hasn't been under Biden? Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but it looks like it's also an issue that the Dems don't want to deal with because they wanted to run on it. It's a bit of both. They didn't want to deal with it because they could potentially run on it, but they also didn't want to deal with it because they're fucking cowardly and so completely captured by mainstream narratives that you saw. That's why NPR would be like, abortion is a divisive issue. Roe v. Wade is a divisive issue. It was never a divisive issue. 75% of the public was completely committed to Roe v. Wade, so much so that every single Trump-appointed Supreme Court justice on the public record lied to the American public and said, it's a super precedent. Amy Covert Beretta literally came out and was like, oh, it's a super precedent. Like, of course we're not going to touch Roe v. Wade. And then they did anyway. They lied. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. You can't do shit, okay? These are appointed positions. They'll do whatever the fuck they want. Liberal framing, but what do you think about this argument? She could personally arrest and deport every Haitian immigrant in America and frack enough natural gas to render all of Pennsylvania uninhabitable, and the median voter would still think she's too liberal. Just embrace it. Fighting it is a losing battle. Yeah, no, this is a little libbed up, but she's right. No, this is correct. This is why. This is why I say what I say. It's the same equation that you need to understand, that it is a one-to-one with the way that people see Biden. They perceive Biden as weak. They see Biden as weak when it comes to Israel, especially, right? They see him as old, weak, and feeble. They don't think he is a strong enough leader. Donald Trump, on the other hand, they see as a strong leader. You've said this before, but focus groups have said about 5 to 8% of the economy, crime, and immigration numbers are strictly because she's a woman and black. A bunch of people don't trust her on anything because of that. I know, which is why trying to capture the coalition of voters that a racist 700-year-old white man captured is not a smart campaigning strategy. This is what I've been saying for months. I said this is going to be a 2008 Barack Obama rerun. If she does that, she's going to win. If she still tries to do the Joe Biden voters, the white suburbians, she's going to lose. White people are racist as fuck and misogynistic. They're not going to look at a black woman and be like, well, you know, she says she's a cop. I believe her. No. The same people that went for Joe Biden were like, yeah, he's stable. He's racist enough. I like him. They're never going to look at a black woman and go, you know what? I've taken this seriously. I think she's going to be a good cop. No, she's a black woman. You know what a black woman will never be? A racist old white man, okay? She will never be Joe Biden. So why the fuck would you bring his campaign on board to run his campaign strategy? You actually thought she had a chance? Are you nuts? She still has a chance, bro. Wake the fuck up. People despise Donald Trump, and also on top of that, Donald Trump is running a dog shit campaign. Every day of the week, Donald Trump goes out and does another stupid thing, says another insane thing. If I'm Donald Trump, I'm desperately running away from how I lost the election. I would never talk about that. I would never bring up January 6th ever again. He can't shut the fuck up about it. Every time he says that, every single person that's like maybe in the margins goes, damn, I do remember that. That shit was kind of fucked up. He like lied about being a sore loser and then he took action. Not every Republican Party voter is primed with like primed in the same way that your QAnon uncle is. They look at that and they're like, that's a little bit much for me. I don't know. Maybe I'll stay home this time. Every single time he moves the needle even further on the immigration stuff to a degree that is like genuinely gross and racist for a lot of Americans, they're like, Americans are going, yeah, I think undocumented migrants do cause a lot of problems, but like, I don't think they're stealing cats and dogs. Maybe that's not for me. Every time he comes out and pops off, he's also hemorrhaging support. The only reason why I think Kamala Harris is in a dog shit position right now is because she's running a dog shit campaign, and the polls should not be showing her this close to Donald Trump. If your opposition got almost assassinated twice and never even saw a fucking bump, it is ridiculous that you are close in any way, shape, or form. The only reason why you're close to him is because you're running towards his vision. You are trying to implement his vision, and you're saying, I'm going to do Trump stuff, but I'm going to do it competently. This, I think a lot of people don't understand. Trump isn't just not liked because he's annoying and gross and chaotic. His policies are also bad, and people don't like it. They don't like how they felt when Nazis were storming in the streets. They don't like how they felt when his annoying ass, arrogant, sweaty, unwashed, loser ass fan base was chirping about every single thing that he said that was a complete fabrication of the truth. Like, they hated that. I hated that. I remember that shit. People forget it's not just Trump's style that sucks, but his policies are sound. No, his policies are bad too. What the did he do for you when he cut tax for the wealthy? Yeah, sure, some dumbass Americans always are primed into believing that the Republicans are better at the economy, but that also is a genuine problem born out of the shitty communication strategies of the Democratic Party in the neoliberal era. Post Ronald Reagan, Democrats got so scared about Ronald Reagan's victory that they were like, we have to just be Ronald Reagan light every election, with one exception, and that was 2008 Barack Obama. Now, the problem is he ran on a very progressive slant, and then he turned around and still did neoliberalism through and through. I guess maybe Al Gore to a certain degree as well, but Al Gore had the election stolen from him, and he didn't fight for it afterwards. So what happens when Trump wins? I'll tell you right now, okay? Donald Trump wins in November 5th. The next day, resistance libs are back. First, they're going to attack the left. They're going to be like, Muslims are the reason why Donald Trump won. Leftists are the reason why Donald Trump won. Oh, guess what? We're going to enjoy the show now. You did this to yourselves, okay? Good luck being deported. Then they are going to slowly but surely build the resistance liberal network. The entire networks are going to forget their coverage nonstop about how, immigrants constitute a genuine national security threat, because everyone's going to start feeling the pain. They're going to start noticing that their neighbors are getting door knocked. Their neighbors are getting, BORTAC units in the area and being ripped apart from their family members. Their daughters are now crying on the streets because their dad is an undocumented migrant, and now he's in a deportation facility. All of a sudden, everyone recognizes how bad that policy was, even though they loudly and boldly declared how good that was when 60% of the country was seemingly on board with it. We are going to get a rerun of the Trump years. That's it. That's what's going to happen. Every single liberal is first going to attack the left, and then they're going to turn around and still attack the left every now and then, but mostly start uniting under a broader progressive momentum. You'll probably see a bunch of people like Kamala Harris, unironically, also see that loud momentum and start saying, abolish ICE again, only to run on pro-ICE next time the election cycle comes around. I still don't understand how everyone has convinced themselves that the polls still don't underestimate Trump. Polling a midterm is one thing, and 2020 was still off by quite a bit. I think Trump is going to win more so than 2016, even if polling is slightly better than 2020. Okay, one thing you got to remember, and this is pretty significant, Donald Trump is the most popular he has ever been in an election cycle at this stage. In 2016, in the polls, he was not this popular. In 2020, in the polls, he was not this popular. Right now, this is the most popular he has been. If you think 2020 was like, Biden put numbers on the board, he did not. He underperformed the polls in 2020. Trump overperformed the polls in 2020. But he is tapped out with like the normal previous voting demographic. 2020 was the opposite, though. Post Roe v. Wade was a genuine change of pace and attitude for Trump and Trumpian style candidates and their performance. 2022, sorry. But that's a midterm. Midterms are high propensity voters. On the high propensity voting front, Donald Trump gets washed. He does. That's why a lot of election understanders and poll understanders say if it's a low turnout election, the Democrats are likely going to win. If it's a high turnout election, Trump is winning, because Trump is cleaning with low to mid propensity voters, people that skip out on voting, people that don't like reliably and consistently vote. So much so that there is a reality that Donald Trump ends up winning the popular vote and still losing the electoral college. I would call Trump weak with status signaling whites. I think it's the election of the teachers' pets versus the teachers' pests. That's actually an interesting take. I like that. Yeah, there are far more teachers' pests than there are teachers' pets. So that's also something to remember.